Hi everybody, welcome to the Messy Cook by Dale. Thanks so much for all your support as usual, and if you like what we're doing today, a thumbs up and a subscribe would be really great. Thanks so much. I really am enjoying all the recipes that you're submitting as well, and we're going to get to them eventually. Today we're going to do a family favorite, yet another family favorite, and that's my meat pie. Kids love it. Now traditionally, tourtieres are made and they put sage and savory and nutmeg, whatever, into their mixture. My kids don't like that. We don't like that. We like salt, pepper, onions. That's it. So it's sort of a variation of tourtiere. Made these for years and years and years. So first thing we're going to do is to heat up our oil. I've got about a tablespoon or so of olive oil in there. I'm cut up part of an onion here. I'll do the other one. Again, make sure your knives are good and sharp. What you don't want to do is work with a dull knife. You're very likely to get cut when you work with a dull knife. So, here we go. Watch your fingers. Cut them up pretty small. Sort of like that. Excellent. And let's get them all in there. So you're going to brown your onions, or you're going to sweat them, not really brown them. You're going to sweat them up a bit. So, let's get doing that. My kids loved this growing up. You have it with some gravy, you have it with some mashed potatoes, a can of peas, and you're good to go. Simple, simple. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to use that here. I'm going to show you later about the crust, what we use for the crust. It's fast, it's easy, it's convenient, no mess. So here's a ground of pork. I have ground pork here, about a pound of ground pork and ground beef. Of course, you can use any kind of meat you want, as long as it's ground up. But this is traditionally what they use in a meat pie. So, I'm going to wash my hands, and we're going to get going here. Okay. So we're going to make sure this is on high. And there we go. Right, okay. So we're going to get this going. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to continue this. So far I haven't put any seasoning in it. I will put salt and pepper. You want to season it really well because the salt and pepper is the only seasoning you have in it. So I'm going to do that now. I've already made a mess, as you can see. So I'm going to put a generous amount of sea salt in there because you want it nicely seasoned. And a generous amount of fresh cracked pepper. Since it's the only seasoning, you want to be good and put a lot. Okay, so you're going to mix this up. Make sure it gets well done. Because when it's all said and done later, when you put it in the pie crust, all you're really cooking is the pie crust because the interior, or whatever's inside the pie, is already done. So here we go. So I want to show you, while that's cooking, what I use to sharpen my knives, because it might be a good idea for you to think about this. And it's very simple. This is by Henkel, and it's a knife sharpener. Let me get this out of the way. And I'll show you how it works. You take your knife, and there's arrows here that'll show you which way to bring your knife. So you're going to put your knife in, and you've got to bring it across. Knife in, bring it across. Do it several times. It's the next best thing to getting it professionally done. And then you take one of these things, which is a knife sharpener, whatever, and you just, away from you, you get rid of the little shards that might be on there from that. Then you give it a good washing. Make sure there's no shards of steel there. And you got yourselves a good sharp knife. So I really suggest you invest in one of these there. I think they're $30 or $40, but it means that your knives are always sharp. So it's a good thing to get. And over the years, I've collected these. I mean, I've been cooking for like 50 years or more, and well, 40 years anyway. And I started off with nothing, and then over the years, I've just built my all my gadgets. I've made sure that whatever I needed, I got if I could, and if I could afford it, and I got what I needed, and now I'm reaping the benefits of having all this great stuff to work with. But it's important to have really good tools. It's like any job, you know, the tools are good, then you're going to produce good material. So same thing with cooking. So we're getting there, starting to brown up. So what I'm going to show you is, after this is done, we're going to put it into pie crust. Now, when the kids were young, I made my own pie crust. I had the time, and I had the energy, and I had the inclination to do it. Nowadays, I figure for just the two of us, Dan and I buy this, and I'll tell you, it's the next best thing. So I can have a meat pie any day of the week. I don't have to go through the trouble of making my own pie crust. I buy this, and I'll show you later how I do it. I buy that, and I've got myself a pie. So, I mean, it's nice. If I'm doing a whole bunch of pies like at Christmas time, and I'm having people over and I make a whole bunch of meat pies, then I will make my own crust because it's more economical. But, you know, for during the week or for just every day, they work really well. And you know what? They're tried and true. You don't have to worry about them not tasting good or not turning out. Turn out best every time. So we're getting there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue cooking this. Okay, I'm going to clean up a bit of the mess. After it's done, then I'm going to show you what to do. But while I'm cooking this, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and when it's all done, I'll show you the next step. See you later. Hi there, welcome back. So what we did was I cooked up the meat. The meat's all ready, and then I let it cool to it wasn't super hot. So I'm just going to give it a taste. Make sure the seasoning is good. Delicious, but needs a bit of salt. I'm going to put a bit of salt, a teeny weeny bit. Mix that up, and we're good to go. So here are the pie crusts. I've defrosted them, took them out of the freezer, brought them to room temperature. So we've got a top crust and bottom crust. So we're going to put, and what I've done in the past is I've taken the crust off out of the silver or the tin foil, put it into a glass pie plate, and then people don't know that I didn't do it by hand. They think I made it. Anyway, okay, so let's pile this in here. As you can see, I like to put a lot of meat in my pie, so everybody gets a generous slice. I mean, you can do less if you want, you know, but I figure it's a hearty meal, so why not put a lot. Of course, this takes forever. And, you know, I make a mess.
Maybe save some for Casey there, Dale.
I could. Yeah, maybe I will. Okay, I made a mess, and that's for Casey. He'll be happy. Okay, so I'm going to put this around like that. Wipe off my hands, put this in here. Now, this is what we do. Let me just get a knife and just pat it down a bit. Okay, so I'm going to take some water and I'm going to go around the pie crust so that the top crust will fit on it and stick like this. I mean, no one's going to know that this is not homemade. It tastes delicious. Now, I'm going to make a slit in the top of this to allow the steam to come through. Then I'm going to very carefully lift this off and put it right on top. It's okay if it cracks. It's not a big deal because you're going to fix it. And you're going to press it down like this. You're going to take a good sharp knife. Careful not to slice your wrists. As you do this, you're going to cut the excess off. Okay. And you're going to flute it. Just to make it look fancy schmancy. It's so easy and you've got yourself a meat pie. I mean, you can make apple pie. I've made apple pies with this pie crust. I've made peach pies. I made everything. It's so convenient. And there you have it. Oh, more. There. Look, you have to admit that looks really good. So it's going to go into an oven. I'm not going to put any egg wash or anything on top. It's going to go into an oven at 375 for about 50 minutes. You're going to have to watch it. You don't want it to get burnt around the edges, so just be careful. Watch it carefully when it gets to the 30 or 40 minute mark. And so you're going to cook it. It's going to be nice and brown on top. And then when we come back, I'm going to show you the finished product and show you what we eat with it in this house. So stay tuned. See you soon. Goes in the oven. Hi everybody, welcome back. There you have it. It's a work of art, if I do say so myself. So it cooked in the oven for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And then I took it out, I let it rest for about 10 so that it's easier to cut. And what we're going to have with it is our traditional, our house, what we have with it. And we have mashed potatoes, homemade gravy that I made without using any drippings, of course, and a can of peas. Simple, simple, simple. The potatoes are russet and Yukon Gold. I made 5 pounds of either. And then I cooked them until they were fork tender. Drained it. I put sour cream, some cream cheese, butter, and half and half coffee cream. And I mixed it up and I smashed it and I took out the blender and I blended up really nice and smooth. And I will have the recipe on the YouTube channel underneath for that. And the gravy is with no drippings whatsoever, totally on my own. But I've been known to buy a can of gravy for this too. But that's actually gravy that I made, and that again will have the recipe underneath. Okay, so let's give it a try, shall we? Oh, look at how tender the pie crust is. Let me get rid of this. Oh my gosh. Oops. Okay, so I'm gonna cut like this. Smells so good. Pie crust is flaky. Okay, so I'm not really good at picking this up, but we'll see how I do. Oh, looks good. Look at that. Of course I made a mess, but you know, that's what Dale does. Dale makes messes. Okay, so it doesn't look so great, but it's going to taste delicious. So let's put a little bit of mashed potatoes on there. Plop it on. Some peas. You can use any kind of vegetable, of course, whatever is easiest or whatever you like. And some gravy. This gravy turned out really quite good, actually. Put a bit on there and a bit on there. Oh, look at this. I mean, Mamma Mia. You smacked your mama for this one. Okay, let's try it. Oh, it's good. Flaky, flaky, flaky. Telling you. Oh, it's so good. The gravy's delicious. Oh yes, Dan, we're gonna have a good one tonight. So that's it. How easy is this to make? You've got a great meal here, very little effort, and not much of a mess. And you've got a pie crust that's, you know, it's tried and true. Why not go for it? So we're still in pandemic mode. We're like 3 months, but hang in there. Look, find you something to do some cooking, have some fun. Let's get through this together. Let's have a nice glass of wine. And remember to forget the mess. Stay safe.